I'll just be like, boys. This is the intro right now, by the way. I know I just started by saying this is what I'm gonna do. This is what the intro is, so the podcast is starting. Boys, welcome to this school year. This actually is the longest I've gone without recording a podcast. So this is gonna be a bit of a rusty one. Maybe I should close that window.
Maybe that might be a good idea.
Yeah. Do you think that'll pick up on the podcast? I mean, yeah.
Surely that will.
Lawnmower, dude.
Oh my god.
No, not the lawn mowing service.
Oh, you gotta be trolling me. Right when we start the podcast, someone starts mowing my lawn.
Of course. It's a classic.
Yeah, so this is my my room for this school year. And so it's a bit of a change of scenery from before. But we don't really have a set location to the podcast yet, so that might be a work in progress of getting it better. Because right now we're just all crammed in the corner in my room.
Yeah.
So
we need to get a warehouse or something.
Yeah, we need to up the levels like Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my $0 income from the podcast.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah. When was the last time you were on the podcast, Jonah? I think it was like winter break.
When was it? No, it was me, Tommy. Was Aiden with us?
I think it was just you and
Yeah.
Tommy, and then we did. I think that's when afterwards we did my brother's science fair project.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you ever hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
So we did the science fair project for Henry, and since I was home for all of January, my parents decided that I should do most of the work. That was kind of a joke, but I think I came up with the idea and like helped them with it. But the whole idea of this science fair project was we usually do these like human experiments for science fair. We don't really do like stupid like, if you are playing Mario Kart, will you perform worse if you're also talking on the phone with someone? Or like something like that. Would people remember funny commercials or serious commercials more? Those are some of mine that I've done in the past. So the one we did with Henry this year, people already know our shtick for the science fair.
Right.
So we had people go into a room with just me and Henry. I was like sitting in the corner with like a notebook, right? And Henry had a list of things for them to do on their phone, like a list of tasks. So it was like, okay, how fast can you find a picture? This is Jonah had to do this. How fast can you find a picture of
Is it a monkey?
Yeah, like a monkey on Google. How do this math problem? What day will this be on? Like something like that, right?
Right.
And like what day will Christmas be on in like 2025? But that was all fake experiments. So the real experiment was right before, like, we did this project. Henry would be like, "Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom quick," and they'd leave me alone in the room with the person.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I would just be sitting on my phone, not participating in any conversation, and we'd see if the test subjects or like the volunteers or whatever would check their phone, or if they would try to talk to me. And so we would see also, we did a variety of ages, like we did grandparents and stuff. And so we determined that all the adult men didn't look at their phone and would rather like talk to me or like sit in silence, literally looking at nothing. But like even my grandma was just like on her phone, like it had been like 10 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was quite the interesting experiment, I think.
Indeed, a very interesting outcome there.
Yeah. So yeah, even though it wasn't my experiments, I feel like I was pretty involved with the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important role.
Yeah. So what's been new with you guys?
Not a lot with me. I think it's just been like the normal stuff. I don't have a roommate though.
You don't have a roommate,
which is great. I just get a whole room to myself.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
But you don't have any. I've heard you don't have anything in your room.
Not really. No, it's basically just my PC.
Yeah. So you're basically like Kelsey Weinberg, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I am Kelsey Weinberg.
This is our friend who didn't have a roommate and also didn't have anything. Like we're like, why don't we hang out in your room? Well, she didn't have any shit in her room besides like her bed.
So you just like sit on the floor?
Yeah.
Yep.
They went in her room one time, and I think the RAs like got mad at you.
Yeah, we got yelled at by the RAs.
Yeah.
Classic.
So, and I was never in her room once. It's like, why don't we ever go in your room? You don't have a roommate. But
Yeah.
We learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Have you guys caught the college cough yet?
I've not. I
I've
heard you
not.
have.
Yeah, I got it this past week. Roaming through the halls of Haas. It was like one day I was talking to people, everything was fine, and then the next day I showed up and everybody had masks on and everybody was just
Oh, really?
coughing.
Uh,
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of people got COVID too. My
really?
neighbors got it.
Haas like the music.
Yeah,
So like the
Haas
people.
is the Fine Arts Center at
Yeah.
Eau Claire.
Yeah. So the
So,
people who were doing the music,
yes,
like that it was like with contained within that sort of.
essentially just the music majors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
That sounds
Yeah.
familiar to a high school experience we
Where
had.
Willem Clifford, yeah, gets COVID and then it,
The
Throwback.
super spreader incident.
yeah. I like how people were actually mad at you for that. It's like
People
that's the
were
dumb.
genuinely mad
Yeah,
about
People
it
that.
like
was so funny though.
Carl was like it seemed like he was genuinely upset at you. He made like 90 memes,
He did.
none of which were funny.
None of them were.
None of them. The same thing happened when the Chris Rock thing happened at the
Oh yeah.
Oscars. Carl posted like 8 memes of the same exact format, and none of them are funny. It's like, why do you even bother posting a meme?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm maybe a little bit hypocritical of that. Why do you bother posting a meme if it's not even funny? But
Yeah.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but any meme I post will be better than a Carl one. But
We're all about well thought out memes
yeah,
in this
yeah,
circle here.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so you got the COVID cough, cause
I didn't get the
or
COVID
not the
cough,
COVID cough, the
the
college cough.
college cough,
Sorry.
yeah. And then I got all my roommates sick. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, that really sucks. Oh, so because you're living in a house this year?
Yeah, so I have a house with two other roommates, and they're also saxophone players. And we also have this cat.
Oh, you have a cat.
Yes,
Okay.
emotional support cat for one of my roommates, and his name is Mika, and
Oh, that's
he's a demon.
isn't that close? Isn't your brother's name Micah?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
That's
it
kind of
is.
funny.
Micah, Mika. Yeah, we call him Mish. Don't know why,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, he's a very interesting cat. Earlier today, I watched him run directly into my door,
Oh,
just
really?
straight up. He thought the door would
Nice.
like open, and he just sprinted right into it.
Does he even have like a sight problem or anything?
No, he's just stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he's chill. He's a homie.
Mm.
Yeah.
But you can like you have it because it's like an emotional support animal, or like because
Yeah.
otherwise they wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
see. I see.
Yeah.
Are those like the friends that you were hanging out with last year, or are these like kind of random people?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like the
So we're all
blonde curly haired
together.
kid. You
Yeah,
say?
Jake. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jake and Chuck, the
Mm-hmm.
lads. Indeed.
Indeed, the lads.
And do the lads. What do you mean? Have you hung out with them before?
Yeah, I've hung out with
Oh,
them
okay.
before.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you sad not having me in your room this year, Willem?
Um, the
That sounds like a
Wow.
no.
not really, but I can't crack a cold Mountain Dew with anyone anymore.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have anyone to watch these terrible Marvel shows with.
Yeah, I don't, and it's so sad.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can watch the new Miss Marvel. I'm gonna be honest with you, Willem. So the new me and Willem watched, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
As cringe as it sounds, me and Willem watched the show. Uh, and we're not like the cringe like, oh, you have to have 1 million IQ to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not like the
We
fandom.
yeah, exactly. We just watched the show, right?
Hmm.
And then so this new season came out. Me and Willem watched the first episode together. Uh, Turns out, me and Willem had this plan to watch the episode, and then he came over, and then the episode wasn't out yet because like he thought that the day like we were like, okay, on the first day of school we're gonna watch Rick and Morty. My logic is September 6th was the first day of school. And that was the first day classes were. But the
Ah.
episode wasn't, or the episode came out September 4th. Willem came over. He was like, "Can I come over?" And I'm like, "I guess." And he thought that we were gonna watch Rick and Morty, but the episode came out at night because it's Adult Swim. So even if it was, he did get the date right, which he did. We couldn't have watched it.
What a failure.
So
Indeed.
That's
so
so
then
sad.
the episode came out the last Sunday, right? So I'm like, okay. Then I waited like a couple days. I'm like, am I gonna watch this with Willem like every week, or is this gonna be like a one-time thing? So as I'm sitting there watching the episode by myself, I get a text from Willem. He goes, "Hey, do you want to? Are we watching Rick and Morty this week?" And I was like, "Sure." So, but I didn't tell him until now that I've already seen it.
So you lied to me.
Yes, I didn't. Well, I didn't lie to you. I
Great.
just didn't tell you the truth.
Ah, I see.
So I'll watch it again
All
because
right.
I'm assuming you don't have Adult Swim,
No,
as
I
nobody does. Yeah. Thank you,
Mm.
Grandpa, for having Dish Network.
don't. Dish.
Yeah.
All about that dish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching Game of Thrones, Attack on Titan, and Breaking Bad all at
Oh my
once.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
So I'm watching Game of
Oh, but you've already
Thrones.
seen Breaking Bad.
No, I took a short break when I moved in, and then I
Oh.
recently started watching it again.
What
So,
don't spoil it, but what season are you on? Because
uh,
Willem is also watching
I'm also
I
Game of
watching
Thrones and
oh,
Breaking
Breaking
there we
Bad.
Bad.
go.
I'm in a similar
I
situation.
just finished season 4 of Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
that
As a
that was a pretty crazy.
dude, that was a
That
pretty
was
crazy one.
I'm
Yeah.
currently on season 2, episode 2,
Oh,
so
really?
I'm at a slower pace, but
Yeah, I didn't think
Yeah.
Willem was gonna watch it because he watched like the first 2 episodes like a year ago,
yeah.
and then he
And I
stopped.
stopped.
Once you get through season 1, then you kind of can't stop for a
Yeah,
while.
Yeah.
season 1,
It's
it's
gotten
a
good.
little silly, but it's slow paced.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Game of Thrones, on the other hand, is
Yeah, what episode of Game of Thrones are you guys both on?
I pushed Game of Thrones aside to
Oh, okay.
watch Breaking
Fair
Bad, but
enough.
I was on like episode 8 of the first season.
Oh, okay.
getting to the good parts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm on like early season 2, like episode 4 or something. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. One thing I will give you guys if you guys need, because I mean, you guys have gotten past the first season, so you might not need it, but they kind
Mhm.
of in the first episode don't say who anyone is. And they're like, okay, here's 90 characters, go. And you
Dude,
don't know
so
the
confusing.
relationship with anyone. So if you need any assistance with that, I can help. I'll be your Game of Thrones like help.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like once I got past the first season, I kind of got it all together, but
Yeah.
it's
And even
very
if you don't know the
confusing.
characters' names, you probably know like what their
Which
role
house
is.
they're in. Yeah.
That's how I am with all the Marvel shows. Is I'm like, it's fucking She-Hulk's friend.
Dude,
Yeah.
every time. Or
Yeah,
like the one the best friend of Shang-Chi.
yeah.
Don't
Oh,
know her name.
Aquafina.
don't know her
I
name.
I think it's Katie actually.
Katie?
Katie
I think
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
she was a pretty memorable character though.
That's true.
All of the like in the 2 new shows, Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, there's a bunch of side characters, and you maybe know like a couple of their names, but it's
Yeah.
like, you really need to. It's like, oh, that's Miss Marvel's brother. Okay,
Yeah.
that's Miss
I
Marvel's friend.
I
Yeah.
stopped watching that show after the first episode,
Which one?
Miss Marvel, and
Yeah.
then She-Hulk. As soon as they got to what was it?
Spoilers, by the way, but not maybe not.
Well, the clip of She-Hulk.
Oh,
You know,
Oh
the
yeah,
yeah,
infamous
the
the
clip,
clip.
infamous
the
clip.
twerking clip.
Yeah, that's not really a spoiler because it got
Yeah,
leaked. Like I hadn't seen the show and I hadn't seen that clip and I'm like, oh, I should watch this show. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, as soon as I saw that, it's just like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
You can tell the show was designed for a different audience in mind.
Well, I actually don't even care that much about She-Hulk. People have been bitching about how bad it is,
I don't think
It's
it's
not
that
that
bad,
bad.
and
honestly.
it literally isn't that bad. It's like it's seriously like it's not like that funny, but people are
Yeah.
like, oh, nothing happens, and it's like, well, I don't really. It's not really doesn't need to really be an
Like
action show.
all the
Yeah.
shows are also just supposed to be setups. Like they're not
Yeah,
supposed to be full length. Like here's a movie, here's a resolution.
yeah.
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 This show to me is like, or Marvel Phase 4 with all like these shows. It feels like the Fortnite season 6 of like shows because everyone watched like the third, like people were like really invested when like Infinity War and Endgame were happening,
Yeah.
and then people were like, oh well, who cares? I'm not gonna watch all these shitty shows. But in X amount of years when fucking Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars come out and all
That's
these characters
true.
are gonna be in it, then you guys are gonna be like, fuck, now I gotta watch hours and hours. So I don't even like really enjoy watching like Miss Marvel. That's
It's
probably
just
my
so
least favorite.
uneducated.
Miss Marvel
Yeah.
is yeah. I literally it's like I'm going to have to watch this eventually. Like, do
That
you think I
show.
wanted to watch Eternals? No.
Oh, that movie was not it.
Me and Willem paid $10 to watch that movie on opening night.
Dang, that's rough.
I didn't find it that bad, but that's just because I'm fucked in the mind.
Yeah, Willem. Well, Willem doesn't care that much about. Is one of those people that likes like lore. Like
Yeah.
I agree. I'm a fan of the
I
lore.
feel like people who like lore of things. This kind of is a good rhyme. People who like the lore of things are people who like the Lord of the Rings, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of just random like characters in
Speaking
that.
of which, have you guys seen the
No,
Rings of Power?
I'm a bit behind, but I have seen the
Uh,
first two
I watched
episodes.
the first episode and
I
I
have no idea if
I
it's good or not.
I I did not like the first episode
Oh,
whatsoever, and
really?
I don't know, does it pick up at all?
Um, Not really in the second episode. I need
Okay.
to watch the third
Well,
and the fourth.
we
My
found ourselves in a predicament
Well,
here.
my cousin Cole is the ultimate like shill of anything.
Ah,
So he'll be like pretty much any like Star Wars show he'll watch, even if it's like kind of mediocre. He'll be like, that was the best thing ever," or like I think he texted me, "Oh, have you seen the new Lord of the Rings show yet?" I don't know if he like likes it, but my guess is he's like a really big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm assuming he's gonna like it, even if it
yeah.
is good. Like he likes anything Star Wars. Like he likes like the prequels and stuff. And like if you like make fun of them, then he'll be like, that's that. But like, I don't know. It's kind of funny because you know that Did you guys watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were watching that, and he was talking to me that he liked it, and I liked it too.
Yeah.
And then, but he was like giving praise to like the exact wrong things that I would like. He's like, "Oh my God, you see Anakin? He looked just like he did in 2002." It's like
No, he
one of the
didn't.
main criticisms I have of the episode is that Anakin looks like he's 90 years old.
Yeah, dude, he
That's like
looks
the one thing
he
I had wrong
looks
with the episode, and
like
then it's
he's
like,
a 40-year-old.
that was like the
Yeah.
first thing he said he liked, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Just wrong
Yeah,
immediately.
wrong.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so funny story. This is a good segue. So I'm in this. I guess I got. Well, okay. Let me. So I'm in this creative writing class,
Mm.
and so I basically got tricked because it's secretly a reading class where I have to do readings. So fuck me, I guess, because I don't like reading.
Yeah.
First day of class, teacher goes, "What books have you read recently that you liked?" Fuck. The last book I read was The Scarlet Letter.
Oh, wow, what a throwback.
And even that, I technically didn't read it because I read the Spark Notes translated
Mm.
version. I didn't read the Spark Notes of it, but I read the translated version, which is still the full book, but it's in like modern day English
Yeah.
instead of like 1400s English when
Mhm.
the book was written, I think. So then I was like, oh yeah, I think the last book I read was like the Scarlet Letter for School. You don't know what school it was. It could be this school.
Yeah.
It could have been high school senior. Last book I read. She's like, so did you enjoy it? I was like, not really. But what am I gonna say? That's the last book I've read because
Yeah.
I don't. Who has time to read? That might sound like a dumbass for saying that, but
I think that's a fair statement,
yeah,
especially once you're in college.
Yeah.
yeah. But so then basically someone said they were reading Lord of the Ring or they read Lord of the Rings and they really liked it, and then this girl who's sitting next to me, and then now I have to make sure I remember to make sure she doesn't view my Snapchat story because I added her on Snapchat because I know I'm about to make fun of her. She goes, um, "Oh my God, like Lord of the Rings," and then the guy's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, that new show though," and then it had already come out, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen it yet," but and she's like, "Yeah, me neither," and it's like, well then
What?
why did you say that? And then I swear to God, one of them was like, "Have you guys seen Lord of the Rings?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then one of them goes, I don't remember if it was the guy or the girl was like, "Oh yeah, we're the biggest fans of Lord of the Rings. That we literally named my cat Aragon." I'm like, don't you
Oh,
mean Aragorn?
uh,
I'm like, you literally, if you're such a big fan, you named your cat that. Wouldn't you think you know the name? I hope that she just fucked it up like in the moment, and the cat
yeah.
is actually Aragorn, and not Aragon, the fucking dragon book.
Good book.
Maybe she
Good
just tweaked in the
books.
moment.
Yeah.
Those
But
books are good. The movie, not as
There's a
much.
movie?
that's what I
Yeah.
heard. Oh yeah, I heard
Dang.
the movie was terrible.
Interesting.
I used to like it as a kid until I read the books. I'm like, oh, the movie is shit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Agreed.
So then, yeah. But the creative writing class, like, I don't know. I like the writing, obviously. But then, yeah. So we had to do this reading for this week, and I didn't think it was due. And so I texted the girl who I have on Snapchat, was the readings due? She said no. And then we come to class, and she hands out a quiz for the reading, and I'm like, fuck. And so then I literally just made up answers. I think I wrote for one of the answers, I was like, I didn't do the reading because I didn't think it was due. And then I just bullshit the rest of the quiz. And then throughout, like she was like grading the quizzes as we were doing something else. She was like, okay, be honest. How many of you guys actually did the reading?" Maybe one quarter of the class raised their hand. And so she's like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay." And like a bunch of people were like, "Yeah, we didn't. I didn't think it was actually going to be due." And then
dang.
so I was like, I panicked for a second. I mean, not really, because it's like 5 points,
Yeah.
but then she is gonna give us all a makeup activity.
That reminds me, last year I took this political science class. It was
Mm.
Poli Sci 110. And first off, this class is interesting. It's a lecture class, and the teacher forced every student to be in the first like 4 rows. So I ended up in the very front row in the middle,
Hmm.
and it was awful because I just constantly had to make eye contact with her. And she's this Texan lady, and she's probably like 4'6"
Mm.
and rather
Jeez.
stout lady. She's a character. Um,
Oh, I had a character for my political science class as well.
I feel like you can only have that
Yeah.
sort of teacher for poli sci, but I got handed this quiz on the second day of class, and it was like a graded quiz on a reading we were supposed to do about, I think it was the Constitution or something, or I don't even remember at this point, but I got a 2 out of 10,
Mm.
and I did the quiz on the back of some printed out sheet music, and
Oh,
she just
Nice.
wrote sheet music question mark on my quiz, and she curved the quiz quite a bit. So
oh. So what did you actually get then?
I got a 5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's quite
But
the
yeah,
curve.
it was yeah, that was a memory.
Yeah. You know what? This might be a hot take about politics,
Mm,
which I usually don't talk about on the podcast.
let's hear it.
This is what kind of annoys me about political science. People who like are like smart with politics, and then
Mm,
they go, "Oh yeah, I voted for," and then they vote for like some random like person, like some like the fifth person, and it's
yeah.
like, okay, well if you're so smart with politics, then why
Why
are
didn't
you
you
vote?
vote for
Why are
somebody
you
that made a
wasting your time?
difference?
Yeah.
You know that that is not going to make a difference at all.
Yeah.
Except I guess maybe it's like maybe like oh if we show how high the voting numbers are for other people, we can maybe influence next year's candidates to or next elections candidates to change their platform a little bit to match with these people that I'm voting for.
Hmm.
Maybe I just proved myself wrong in that in this moment, but
I don't know enough about politics to care.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely not a big politics person. At this point, every time I see like any political news pop up, I actually on Snapchat, I've been doing this. You know how you can like hide content?
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
been trying to do that, but then every time I go over to the news feed, that same like specific news thing is back, and it's like I don't know if it does anything.
On Snapchat?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's weird. I hate
mm,
those news things.
I agree. It's always clickbaity.
Or have you seen like the new like it's like really creepy. They like I don't know how like they get your like someone in your Snapchat's face and they like generate like
Oh, the Bitmoji stories?
no, it's not even that because they had the Bitmoji stories was like you and another Bitmoji like doing some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then they changed like I swear like here, let me see if I can find a picture. I'll edit it into the podcast if I find it. But I think I took a screenshot of this like thing I got. I don't want to.
What?
It was like it wasn't a picture of him, but it was like I feel like they collected a bunch of old pictures. Right here. Look, Cameo
What?
stories.
Oh,
Oh, I forgot
I
about
forgot about
those.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the so you're looking at my Snapchats and then like using them to do this stupid ass story.
I think it's like you can when you go to stickers and all of that, it's like an additional thing where you take a picture of your face and then it posts your face on like essentially like a Bitmoji, but
Oh, so did
it's
he
like
choose to do that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the default to if I don't have anything funny to say, so I just
Yeah.
hope something funny appears in that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know about that then.
yeah.
I thought that.
That's a classic conversation ender in the boys group chat.
Oh
Just
yes,
one of those
Oh, really?
things.
yeah.
That's my conversation under is either I send some emoji, like say it's like, hey, do you want to do the podcast this week? Yeah. What time? This time? Blah blah blah. And then like the person's like, all right, sweet. And and then I'm like, yeah. And then I just send like two thumbs up emojis or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the person that opens on the other person.
Yeah, I know that. Every
Yeah.
time we have a conversation, we always go back and forth with different memes
Yeah,
or stupid
exactly.
things
And then
like that.
Yeah.
and then at the
Yeah,
very worst, I'll scroll down and just find some random meme in my camera roll.
yeah. Now that you mentioned the boys group chat, that reminds me of a story that our good friend Tom Jensen once told me. Um,
Uh-oh.
so I'm about to tell you a story about the greatest marketing campaign.
I
Oh,
love this story.
okay.
So,
I'm excited now.
um, you know the drink Red Bull. I'm
Yes,
assuming you do.
of course. I have some in
So,
that fridge.
oh, you do?
I do, yeah.
Perfect. Um, I'm not gonna steal it, of course.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you very much.
anyways, so this is gonna be a story about the drink called Kratin Dang. I don't know if it's actually pronounced that way. I don't know. It's
Something like that.
uh basically it started in Thailand. There's this dude and he noticed, wow, there's all these energy drinks and they're marketed towards rich people. What if I just made an energy drink and marketed towards like workers and people that like needed energy.
Okay.
So
How is Red Bull marketed towards rich people, though?
it's not Red Bull.
Oh.
Yeah, he just sees other energy drinks in Thailand marketed towards
Oh, in
rich people.
Thailand.
So he
Okay.
realizes,
Sorry.
oh, there's like a gap I can fill here.
I
So
see.
he
I
creates
tweaked.
this
Okay.
drink called Kratin Dang, which is like red something. It's some sort of word for a type of bull
Oh,
in
okay.
Thailand or in the Thai language. And basically, he comes out with this drink, and in Thailand, it's actually a glass bottle. So,
Hmm.
he gets it on the market, it's selling, and then flash forward a year or two, I don't know the actual timeline. This guy from the toothpaste company Colgate, I believe he's from Switzerland. Does that sound about right?
I think that's
Yeah,
right.
he's from Switzerland. He's flying over to Thailand for a conference, So he's like, "Wow, I'm tired as dog. I need a drink." And then, he gets a bottle of Kratin Dang and he's like,
Hmm.
this shit smacks." And he feels energized. So then eventually it turns out to be like he does all the marketing towards like specifically American marketing. So like he markets it towards hard workers or like I don't know, like sports players and
Hmm.
stuff. I'm explaining this much worse than I have in the past. I, I've
Yeah,
Okay.
you're out
I've
of
told this
practice.
story a few times, but it's been a couple weeks. So, he's doing all this marketing, and of course, Red Bull. They had the guy jump from space.
Yeah. Oh, is that Felix Baumgartner? Was that him?
I believe so. That sounds about right. So
Like the
basically,
longest. I think it was like the longest free fall of all
yeah,
time.
longest free fall.
Yeah, I think that was
So,
Felix. Yeah,
and that
Felix
was
Baumgartner has that
entirely
Red
the
Bull.
brand Red Bull
Yeah.
that had like no connection to NASA or anything. They just had that guy go up there and do that.
Hmm.
So, the company Red Bull, they don't sell any drinks. Well, they sell drinks, but they don't produce any products. They're only the marketing on like the American side of things. But then Kratin Dang, they do all the production.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Red Bull is just a marketing brand, basically.
Oh, so the Red Bull is Creatine Dang, or like
Red Bull markets for it, and it sells Kratin Dang
so.
as Red Bull in
Yeah.
America.
So when
Yeah,
I drink a Red Bull, it's really Creatine
yeah,
Dang advertised as Red Bull,
exactly.
Yeah.
I do believe there's a slight recipe change because, of course, like,
like legal, or
well, no, I think it's just because American people think Eastern Asian drinks taste weird sometimes,
oh,
so
I
they
suppose.
changed the recipe a little bit. But yeah, that's the story of Kratin Dang.
So how does that have to do with that group chat?
There is a subgroup chat involving certain fellows.
Okay,
Yes,
and it's called
it's
Creatine
It's
called
Dang.
called
Kratin
Creatine
Dang
Dang.
Oh,
because we
okay.
told this story too many times.
That's kind
Because
of funny.
this is how it went. Tommy told this story to me when we were making a trip over to for certain reasons,
Uh-huh.
and then eventually, uh, both me, Tommy, and Will, we all were making a trip somewhere. I weren't we going to the casino
I
that
think
night?
we were going to the
Yeah, we
casino.
went to Mystic Lake Casino.
Mm-hmm.
It was one day after work, because like work got canceled, or no, they had to like send some people home because we
Yeah.
all worked at Family Aquatic
All
Center.
right.
Uh-oh,
Oh,
dude.
Thanks a lot, Jonah.
shit.
No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, in Nebraska. So,
Uh,
yeah, we all went to the Mystic Lake Casino because we were like, we're gonna go to the casino, why not? And then, me and Tommy co-told this story to Willem,
mm,
and then eventually I tried to tell this story at work with the assistance of Tommy, and then I've
uh-huh.
also told this story to two of two different groups of people here at our college
Oh, okay.
town. Yeah.
You can say Eau Claire.
Oh, Claire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's funny like the lore of the story more than the story itself.
That's
Yeah.
Just
100% it.
the
It's
fact
just
that you told
where
the
it's
story.
gone with
Did
the
you know
storytelling. Yeah.
about Great Teen Day?
It's so silly and specific. And there's always a way to tell the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know what reminds me? Speaking of you sent like having to be censored in that one moment, I wonder if you took every single podcast episode. I've obviously been on the most episodes because I've been on every one.
Yeah.
I wonder if I even have the most censors in like the podcast history. Like if you added everyone up, would I actually be number one? Like I think if I would guess it'd be like Carl or Sandquist. But like
Mm,
I've probably been on
Yeah.
like 12 times the amount of podcasts that Carl has. I wonder if I still have less censors than
who
him.
do you think consistently tells the most stories? Because I feel like stories is where like,
Mm,
you name drop or stuff like
yeah,
that.
not necessarily. I think well, if like I guess uh it's like censors, but also like when you count like telling a story that has to be cut out because someone thinks it's inappropriate. Like Sandquist always is like when someone tells a story about him, he wants that to be cut out because he's like
Mhm.
embarrassed of it, like what he does in real life. It's not like we're like lying about him, but just like
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
someone will be like, "Yeah,
People gotta
Sandquist said
keep
this," and he goes,
face.
"Come on, bro, you got to cut that out." Kind of a running joke I've had in the last few podcasts is
Yeah.
complaining about Sandquist having to cut stuff out,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. Carl is really bad with just saying stuff because he doesn't really give a shit. The
Mm.
last episode of the podcast had Carl on it. I had to cut a bunch of shit out. Uh, Carl and then Jack Dunn is pretty bad as well. Marcus is
I
really
can see
good at
that.
not censor, like saying stuff that, like, even if it's like relevant in the story to say, like where we live or whatever, he'll like say without me having to remind him, say, "Oh yeah, the town that we live in," blah blah blah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the what would you call that? The detour way of telling the
yeah,
to
exactly,
Yeah.
I can't
exactly.
The
talk.
roundabout way.
Okay,
Yeah.
the roundabout way. Dude, I
Speaking of roundabouts, no, I'm just kidding.
speaking of round
Fucking
uh
hate roundabouts.
dude, roundabouts suck ass.
They
Actually,
do.
they only suck ass because other people suck ass at driving around roundabouts.
That's true.
Or I guess entering the roundabouts. Anyways,
Do you guys like the song Roundabout?
I don't know that song.
It's the or maybe it's the to
Oh,
be continued maybe.
okay, yeah,
Oh,
I do know that.
It's
That is a
Roundabout by Yes, correct?
I have no
Or is it
idea.
Yes by Roundabout? I obviously I don't. That's the only song that I've known by them. I think the song is called Roundabout
okay. That would I could
That would
see.
make sense.
because like there's a
Yeah.
part where in the song they go "Son of the roundabout." I think.
I've only heard
The
Yeah,
one
no,
the
specific portion.
excerpt.
literally, I've only heard that
Yeah.
part, and then I was driving the car with Avery Stoffel, and then he plays the song. And I'm like, hey, it's the to be continued song, and then the song keeps playing. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's kind of it's how he's in his
It's like
playlist,
an
and
actual
I'm like,
song.
this song is good, and Stoffel is like, yes, yeah, exactly. Like,
Here, I
if
gotta
you
look.
taken this song,
I gotta add
taken
this to my
taken the time to listen to this song all the way through, that's pretty interesting.
roundabout by Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that is
bow
it.
now down bow bow
Yeah.
bow bow
8 minutes and 31
Yeah, it is
Oh
seconds.
my
long.
Wow, that
God.
is a long
It is a
song.
long song.
Dang. That's gonna be the next song I listen to when I go donate. I've been donating plasma
Plasma.
lately.
Ooh, tell.
Yeah. So it's through this company called BioLife.
Okay, I think
Uh,
Brennan is doing that as well.
yeah, and basically, like, it's so interesting because they just have hundreds of people go through the place every day, and they're just like making a huge profit off of it, but they're also able to pay like all these people that are going through
Yeah.
like a good amount of money every time. So like I'm doing this first time donator like promotion,
Mm.
and it's 8 times for $950.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's a good amount of money. But I will say I've had some problems. You need to hydrate quite a bit,
Yep.
and like an excessive amount too. Like I'll drink a gallon at least in the 24 hours before,
Mm.
Jeez.
at
Jesus.
least. Yeah.
And that's
So,
not enough.
depends. So like the first time I went there, they were like, "Oh, you're not very hydrated," but they still stuck me with a needle and they like took a protein sample or something because they had to do like a first time thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they had this rule, had specifically, where if they stick you with a needle, they have to pay you still. So the
Oh.
first time I went, they stuck me with a needle and then they were like, "Okay, we'll still pay you, but you're getting sent home." And then the second time I went and I had this less trained nurse that was there.
Oh
I think she had
Christ.
like a in training thing on her name tag too,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh
Rough.
shit, here we go. And she started in my left arm and she kept like readjusting the needle, which is extraordinarily uncomfortable for anybody that hasn't gotten stuck by a needle. And then they had to switch it over to my right arm, and then it was just like a very slow flow, and it was just like I don't think I was hydrated enough that day.
Oh really?
So then they were like, you should come in the afternoon so you can hydrate more. Which that reminds me, I need to be drinking more water.
Yeah.
Let me take a water break for a second.
Drink up there, bud.
The bottom of your water bottle is really dented.
That's from
Dropping it.
yeah, well, other people knocking it off the lifeguard stand.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, there's
Classic.
numerous dents in this. Yeah.
So like they hit the lifeguard sand from the bottom, or like
No,
what do you
like
mean?
during the rotation, like
Oh.
because one person has to get down and then the other person has to go up. It's just very easy to knock it over. Also, the wind, because it's a large water bottle,
So
it gets
you
blown
leave, but do
over.
you leave your water bottle up there when you do the rotation, or how do they knock it down?
Well, like basically, you're on the stand already because this is during the half hour mark. Because at the top of every hour, it's like, there's only a couple people out there, and then everybody goes out when it's
Mm.
time to start everything up again. But it's like one person on the stand, and then one person comes over and they're like, I got it, because there's always got to be one person watching the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay. So then you hop off the stand, then you're like, I got it. Then the other person goes up and they get on the stand.
Mm.
So there's a lot of situations that can happen with water bottles being pushed off a stand.
I see.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt your
Oh yeah,
plasma
Yeah,
we
back
were,
to
we
story.
were
back to
talking about
story.
plasma.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah, because, yeah, Brennan donated plasma and then he said, like, they couldn't use it for some reason.
yeah. I don't know, but so anyways, sticks my arm a bunch, and then they switch it over, and then it's like a slow flow. So I'm there for like longer than I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not common for them to like have to switch arms and
Yeah.
do all that. So then I left, I got paid still, and then the third time that I went, I made sure to hydrate a lot too. So I was like, there's no way I'm getting sent home.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit down and they stick it in which arm was it? I think it was my right arm first. And they were like, "Oh, I can't get the needle on the right flow. I gotta like adjust this." And then they had another nurse come over and she's like, "I'm gonna switch arms." And then apparently in this arm, she noted that I have big juicy veins in my left arm. In
Mm.
that's a direct quote. She did say big juicy veins.
Nice.
Um, apparently I have a tendon that's like right under my main vein here, so they like have a hard time getting the proper flow in. So they sent me home then, and I also got $50 extra because I had a coupon.
Ah,
So I got paid $180 for going for 15 minutes. Although I did get double poked and it was quite painful.
I see.
But they made a new rule literally the day after, where if
Oh,
they put a needle in you and they still have to send you home, you don't get paid for that. Like you have to complete your donation.
really?
So
Oh.
if I have a donation at 3 o'clock today, so we'll
Oh,
we'll
that's where, is
see.
that where you're going after this?
Yes, that is
Okay,
where I'm going.
I see.
Yeah.
I had a
Hmm.
family member who like had to donate blood, and at one point they like stuck them wrong in their arm and it just like hurt like really bad. So I get like some of these horror stories sometimes about
I
taking
still have a
blood.
bruise here. Because when the one lady was like adjusting a bunch, like this whole area was bruised the next day, and it's still been bruised. So
Yikes. What do they use the
Yeah.
plasma for? Just for like research and shit?
I have not a single clue because it's not like
Or,
actually wait,
or is
I
it?
think it's for people with like leukemia or blood
Oh,
cancer
okay.
because usually you have like low like red blood cell. No, that's not it.
Yeah, so when you
It's not
go
red blood
through
cell
like
because you
radiation and chemo, it,
Mm.
it kills most of your white blood
that's what
cells.
it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
okay.
you need some sort of like antibody to fight off infection.
Yeah.
I see.
Because when you're donating, it like does a round of taking your blood out and then it spins the thing and gives back your red blood cells. So it
Mm.
only takes your white blood cells.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So
backing up
it's
my
not.
explanation,
Yeah.
So it's not
Willem.
the same as just donating blood, because
No.
they use the blood to just give to other people of the
Yeah.
same type.
And also, it's a little less draining than just donating blood because you actually get your red blood cells
Yeah,
back. So,
that's that reminds me of a time where I don't remember what this is such a non-story, but it was like it's such a Jack Dunn moment where for some reason the conversation comes up that we're talking about what blood type we are. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what type I am. And Jackson just is just sitting there. He goes, yeah, I'm O negative, universal donor. He just
what
says
a
that.
bragging right.
Exactly. I'm like, that's such a Jack Dunn thing. And it's like, you'll never donate blood, Jack.
Yeah.
This is the funniest part. I know you're not going to ever donate blood,
That's so
but it's so
funny.
funny that you'd bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, universal donor.
Universal donor.
I'm a fan of that. No, the interesting thing is I asked them, well, because they like prick your finger at the beginning to get a blood sample and everything. I don't know why. I think it's just to like make sure you're okay to donate for that day. And basically I asked them the first day that I went there what my blood type is, and they were like, "Oh, you can't know that. Like, we can't give you that information." But
Really?
it's like if you go to like a hospital, I think you can. I don't actually know how to figure out your blood type.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need to give yourself some sort of disease where you, or not disease, but you get yourself into a situation where you need to have blood.
Maybe,
I feel like you can just like go to your doctor for that.
probably
Or figure it out like from your parents.
that too.
Do you remember the episode of? Do you guys ever watch Victorious?
I I know a few iconic episodes from
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, just like barely.
There's one episode where there's like some play, and I guess Tori, the main character, she had like the main like role, and Jade like the goth like kind of bitchy girl.
Hmm.
But she like comes around I guess later in the show. She's like a character arc I think.
Yeah.
Um, she wanted like the role that Tori had, and Tori was like donating blood, like she donated like a pint of blood, and then like I think Jade would like two times she like hid the blood or like did some, like I don't know what she was donating blood for. She was donating it for a specific reason, but they needed it again. Like she like knocked the blood over and spilt it or like something like that, and then basically Tori got 3 pints of blood taken out, and then she was like so woozy that she couldn't do the play, and it's like. That's like one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen in a
That's
TV
screwed
show.
up.
You cannot do that. They
Yeah.
borderline would just not let you donate blood.
That's
Yeah.
actually just a crime.
Exactly. Exactly. That show, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. My roommates, for some reason, are trying to debate me. My roommates, I say my roommates, but Brennan, and then I got three of my other friends are in the apartment down. And what me and Willem have learned is that they'll always try to debate. Like I guess I always like I'm not the one to say that I'm wrong when I in my head know that I'm right.
Fair.
Until I'm proven wrong, then I usually will argue my points.
Yeah.
If I think I'm right, I'm not just going to argue for no reason. And so, like for example, they were trying to debate me and Willem last year that the game of chess is less popular than spike ball, and then we were saying I was like in the world I was saying, and then
Yeah.
they were trying to then what Madison our friend does is when she's wrong she'll completely change what the argument was about. So then she said, "Oh, chess in our age group in this country is less popular than spike ball." It's
That's
like,
very
and it's
different.
like, well,
Yeah.
fair enough, but that's not what I fucking said, dumbass.
Yeah.
The other
Why
day,
did you say
so
that?
a couple days ago, we were driving in the car, and she was trying to. So I'll let her. When next time she's on the podcast, I'll let her debate her side of the story. We're talking about Pokemon Go, Because I said as a joke, I was like, we should all get Pokemon Go and then like take over Eau Claire and like take over every gym
Yeah.
or something like that. And she's like, I remember playing that back in like 6th grade. So not this is kind of unnecessary on my part, but since I've had the game since day one, I felt that I was like, I bet you mean like 8th grade or something like that.
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, I've been playing since like 8th grade, but yeah, whatever, or something like that. And she's like, oh no, I remember in 6th grade, and it's like, okay, well, if you're trying to say that I'm wrong, I'm like, well, the game came out on July 6th, 2016, so
Jeez.
so then since she's like, I'm like, she's like, that's summer. I'm like, yeah, the summer before 8th grade, like the summer of 8th grade. She's like, well, wouldn't 2016 be the summer of 7th grade? So then this is where we play this entire argument, and then people in the car, obviously, the other thing with my friend group is that everyone else who isn't in the argument likes to fence ride, even if
Hmm.
there's one obvious side that's correct. And so they were like, out like she was trying to then she was trying to argue that I'm wrong because technically, since it's the summer between 7th and 8th grade, it should be. I should have said it was in 7th grade, and then it's like, well, no, because say the summer of 2021, which is between college freshman year and senior year, you wouldn't say, oh yeah, this is my senior summer. No,
No,
because you're already
definitely not.
graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not, you can't just like switch it and because, oh, but you can't just say, oh yeah, it's a special circumstance because you graduated high school. Then it's like, okay, so this is my senior summer and the one before it was senior summer. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So even if I was wrong there, and okay, fine, 7th grade. You said fucking 6th grade and I said 8th grade. So it's not like
It's still
you're still
wrong.
right. You have to go
Yeah.
through two like you have to
Defenses of
go through
Yeah.
argument.
two like, oh, maybe this, and then you're right. Whereas me, it's just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, see, that's always easy for me to remember because of marching band, because we would always do like senior marching band was the year before senior year. So it was like
Yeah.
summer of senior year. Yeah.
Willem, what is the formula for the circumference of a circle?
For the circumference, that's 2 pi r.
Okay, but is that the same as pi d?
Yeah.
So once again, last night, seems like the dumbest.
Oh
Hold on,
God.
hold on.
Now, the dumbest thing. The thing you post on your story about is everyone a frog or a rat? Like every person's
Yeah.
face is a frog or a rat.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So like for example, obviously Willem is a frog and me and Jonah are rats, right? I would say.
Yeah.
That sounds
That makes
about
sense.
right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
person either looks like a frog or a rat. Not
Yeah.
really, but so we were having that debate when we were coming home from Taco Bell last night, and I said, yeah, Madison, you are a frog because your head is literally a circle. Like it's literally a perfect circle. You are literally the SpongeBob episode where he could
Damn.
draw, the SpongeBob episode where he draws the face and then I'm gonna erase some of the more detailed features and big bang boom, a perfect circle thingy
Yeah.
when he's in like Squidward's art class. It's actually
Yeah.
where that painting is from right there. I'm making connections all over the
Ah.
place. I have the Bolden brush painting that Burrow gave me. Put a picture of it on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm all over the place right now, but
No, continue.
but so then someone goes, "What's the circumference of Madison's head?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'd be like 2 pi r of her head, or like the r being the radius." And then I was like, "Or pi d, pretty much the same thing." They're like, "That's not the same thing."
It is the same
And I was
thing.
like, and
These
all of them,
guys.
by the way, are STEM majors. All of them are.
Oh, what?
I forgot about that.
So then they're all trying to tell me that 2 pi r is not the same as pi d because like, and I think their argument they're trying to make is that it's different sometimes because pi, if you put the symbol pi versus put 3.14, it's technically different because you're like rounding it up, and so it might be different. But it's like what?
That's
But
not a
that's
sound
once again
defense.
that isn't what we were talking about. If you take pi out of 2 pi r and pi d, then you're left with 2r and d
Which is
equals 2r, which is because the diameter is
To our
the
pi.
radius.
Yeah.
The radius is halfway of the circle, and yeah. But then I'm like, I can't tell if you guys are trying to fuck with me or not. Like, why are you guys? So we're having this whole argument, and this is a segue to another story. We get back, and my car. Well, okay, fine. Let me. So my friends basically, moral of the story, are often wrong for no reason.
That seems to be the
Oh,
trend.
say I didn't say why I started talking about this in the first place? They thought that iCarly was worse than Victorious, which is just kind of a known fact that it's wrong. Like
Yeah,
Victorious is kind of like everyone knows that Victorious where they started going downhill with the Dan Schneider shows. Like
yeah, it's kind of
Drake and
like the
Josh was the
second
peak, and then
hand.
iCarly was pretty good, almost I'd say as good as Drake and Josh
I
Yeah.
would
because they kind of
agree.
finished the show. It's like an
Yeah,
overall better show. Maybe not had Drake and Josh had maybe better high points than iCarly, but then they made it Victorious, which is okay. Obviously, there's a bunch of shows before that, like Zoe 101 and like
Yeah.
um, Keenan and Kel and shit like that.
hmm
That was before my time. Then they made Victorious, which is worse than both of those shows, and they made Sam and Cat, which is worse than all three of those shows, and they made like I don't know Game Shakers or whatever the fuck Dan Schneider, and then like
yeah,
Henry Danger or whatever, and then Dan Schneider got found out he was like a creep, and then I think they fired him.
yeah,
Yeah.
as
Um,
one should.
yeah, so then yeah, um, but they were trying to tell me that like all three of them were trying to tell me Victorious is better than iCarly. It's like
I
wow.
just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But their argument was pretty solid. They were saying that like it's more like teen. It's like more like teen humor than kid humor. And then it's like fair enough. Like they're saying if you watch both the shows nowadays, you probably laugh more at Victorious. Which okay, fair enough. I haven't seen the shows in a while.
Mhm.
Maybe that's true. But I
Maybe.
feel like it's not like it's on Nickelodeon, not Teen Nick. So I feel like it's marketed more towards kids. Like Victorious is
Yeah,
on, and then SpongeBob is on.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's why.
Interesting.
And what show? It's not like they're gonna do a reboot of Victorious, probably because all the cast hates each other. But they did a reboot of iCarly,
Yeah.
That
yeah,
is true.
which we still need to watch, Willem.
We still need to watch it.
What
So many
what
things to watch.
platform is that on again?
Paramount Plus, which is why a lot of people
Uh,
haven't seen it.
that's the one streaming service that my house does. Okay,
Exactly.
So-
exactly.
No one
here,
has.
let me
Exactly.
tell you.
Same.
Here's a fun thing about one of my roommates, Chuck, is he happens to have every streaming service essentially. Like we have HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, like just all of it.
Yep, that's how me and
So
Willem work, because I have
yeah,
all of them.
and it's just all on the TV. It's fantastic. So like, we have the Xbox, we have the PS5. I don't know what the new is. It Series S,
Series X.
X.
Well,
Okay.
There are both.
Sorry, the Series S is. Microsoft is terrible at naming things because the
I
Series
agree.
X and Series S are the same thing. The Series S is a lower powered version of the Series X that can still play all the same games, but it is way cheap. It's like $200 cheaper. It's like $300 for this. The newest Xbox console is
Interesting.
pretty good, but what's the point? Because Xbox One can play most of the new games anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, obviously Microsoft is just
Bad at
really
naming.
really bad
Well,
naming things. Well, they're bad when they name their third console the Xbox One.
yeah,
It's like
it was the same logic as Battlefield 1.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Battlefield One was about World War One, so that makes sense,
I didn't put
in
that
my
together.
opinion.
I
I
never
think.
put that one together.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I feel like they would have named it. They could have named it a little better still.
Yeah. Well, what other things have like one in the title? Like nothing, because they just name it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't that be copying one of the COD games?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Don't they have like a World War One COD game?
There's a game called Call of Duty Big Red One. I think that's the second one.
What?
But I think
Dang.
that's still a World War II game.
We're digging deep into
Call
the
of Duty
Xbox
2 is
lore.
called Big Red One, I think.
I think there is a Call of Duty
Dang.
World War One or something.
I don't know.
There's definitely
Because
The first three Call of Duty games were all World War II games, and then
Yeah.
Call of Duty 4 was Modern Warfare, and then they did World at War,
they also did
which I think is World.
they
That might
did
been
have
World
a
War
new
One.
World War II game.
Yeah, and then they did World War II like 5 years ago.
So original.
I
But
think I'm just thinking of World at War, which was a World War One game.
yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, that is Call of Duty. That's Call of Duty 5.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Dang.
and then after that was I think Black Ops 1 came next after that, or no, it was Modern Warfare 2 came
Mhm.
after that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just did like modern, like they didn't go back till like World War II.
They went
They
through
didn't do
all the
World War II.
warfares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did like future. They did like advanced warfare, infinite
Okay,
warfare.
hot take. I think Advanced Warfare is one of my favorite COD games.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the infected gameplay. I
Oh,
don't know
really?
why.
I never played.
Because I would always sit in Adam Iverson's basement and play Infected with him until the late hours of the night. I remember there was one night where we were playing until like 3 a.m. and we heard Terry coming down the stairs. It's a very iconic noise because you
Oh
can
yeah,
hear the knees clicking,
yeah.
and you know what I mean?
No, I never met Terry.
Oh, he had very bad knees, and you
I
could
don't
hear
remember. I
them
don't remember that
upstairs.
specifically,
You
but
could literally hear them through like
maybe
the
I do.
basement floor. It was crazy.
I remember his dad. Like he's. I think you. I remember him being quite the character. And like
He
not like
is.
he do like any crazy things, but just like
Yeah,
I don't know.
he is a character, that's for
I
sure.
remember him being like, there's something about him that I was like, this guy's quite the character.
Yeah, yeah. But I just remember we were like we just turned off the TV and like he obviously knew we were up late playing and he was just like, "Were you guys playing?" And we just didn't say a word. We were
Yeah,
just pretending to be asleep.
yeah,
That reminds me of also getting the DS taken away,
yeah, and
putting it
having it
under
on
the
your
pillow.
pillow. Yeah,
Yeah, many
that's
times.
an iconic memory. I
Everybody has that memory.
There was a moment where I was. It was like literally like I think it might have been during COVID, and we had like, oh, we have to go to online school in the morning. Obviously, debatable if you actually have to go to it or not.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I
just turn it
think
on and sleep.
I think I was like that's this back when I had my PlayStation in the basement, and so and my parents how my house is arranged is like the okay well there's no point in me like doing the hand motions but basically my the place where the PlayStation was right next to the staircase which is goes up to my parents' bedroom on the top of the staircase and they leave the door open so they can hear my dad bitches that he can hear me.
Wait, are you talking about your basement
No, it's in
or
the
your
main
main?
level.
Okay, main. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
because then yeah there's no doors like there's no door up the top of the staircase
Yeah.
because but it just leads to the hallway. But then like, um, yeah, my parents sleep with the door open, and my dad would bitch about how he can hear. Oh, I can hear you all night, and it's like, well then close your door, dumbass.
Oh,
And it's like, but then there was one time where I stayed up. Literally, I was talking to Arnie about like just like life for
yeah.
like until like fucking way in the morning, and I heard my dad wake up, and so I was like, okay, how am I gonna? Because if I walk upstairs, he can hear me walk upstairs. So I don't want him to think that like because I think my theory is he can't actually hear me talk downstairs, but he can hear me come upstairs, and
Hmm.
so he just knows that I was up all night and I was supposed to be like in bed so I could go to school, and then so one time I literally hid in the basement. Um, yeah, it was during COVID. Yeah, I hid in the basement, and then because my dad came downstairs to like get ready for work and stuff, and then I was in the basement, and then my mom came downstairs for uh, work, and she was like working for like 5 minutes before like I like got up to go back up to my room to go sleep or whatever, and then because my mom doesn't care,
Yeah.
and then my mom like she was like screamed, she was so scared because I was like hiding in the basement. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing down
That's pretty great. That reminds me, if are you done with your story?
Yeah. Wait, I
Okay.
feel like we were. What were we talking about before Call of Duty? We were actually talking about something. Oh, something one. You talk. Oh, you're talking about
Oh,
streaming services with your.
Oh, yeah, we just have a lot of streaming services.
Yeah.
That's
My
basically it.
family. Yeah. My family shares pretty much all like my extended family.
Hmm.
Like we have. I think we have Peacock. We pay for Peacock and Amazon Prime, and then my grandpa, since he has Dish Network, he has HBO Max, and then he also has, or maybe he just pays for that separately, and then he also has like the Adult Swim, which I guess only I use for Rick and Morty, and then my uncle, like someone, my like other like family has Hulu, which they give us. My cousin has Paramount Plus. Someone, my aunts and uncle on the other side give us Netflix,
Just
and then
all
we
shared.
also pay for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
mhm.
Disney Plus, that's an interesting one. So, this was sophomore year of high school during show choir. I met these people from where was it? West Salem, Wisconsin, which is like in the Onalaska La Crosse area.
Hmm.
And basically, I was good friends with them, and they were like, "Hey, my friend, they have an extra profile on their Disney Plus."
I hate to be this is gonna be my Lucas, but I have to do it. This would have been junior year because Disney Plus came out during junior year.
Yeah, that would have been junior year
Yeah.
then. I met them sophomore year though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Good point. Good
just
point.
clarifying because I
Yeah, you are a
I don't
keeper
want to
of
give you. I
dates.
don't want
You
to
are a
keep.
keeper
I
of
don't want
dates.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you've
want
proven me wrong. I trust you.
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
spread
Yeah.
any misinformation over
You're all
here.
right. Because
Yeah.
when Disney Plus came out, and because I remember it was after the podcast had already started, because we talked about it when like the day it came out, recorded the podcast. It was like I think the first Burrow episode,
Hmm.
and we are like talking about how much we like Disney Plus, or
Yeah.
maybe no, I think we recorded it like later in the week because
Hmm.
I remember Disney Plus came out, and the first episode of Mandalorian came out on the same day. I think it was like a Tuesday, but they wanted each episode to come out on a Friday, and so then they just released two in 1 week.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That sounds about
so
right.
this is this might be a you might think that my memory is really good after telling the story, but it's just how my brain works. The podcast that I had, it was either the Simon episode that was just me and Simon. I had to go to Marcus's house to use his internet to upload the podcast and then Marcus was on that podcast episode that we recorded. So then I just we like drove together to back to my house.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm on this.
Sorry for interrupting you.
I got invited to this person's Disney Plus like profile or whatever, and I've been on their Disney Plus ever since then. And I've
Really?
never paid a
Wow.
cent for it, and it's just stayed the same. It's
Really?
great.
Do you still talk to this person or
I talked to the person who is friends. Like I'm still friends with this person. I actually hung out with them last week.
Oh,
But the
really?
actual person that pays for it, their family, like I've never met them ever.
Really?
Ever. It was just like
wow?
mutual friends, and it's just like I'm still on their Disney
And they
Plus.
haven't changed the password yet?
I get updated when they change the password.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
What do you
change it
mean?
twice. Like,
The kid tells you?
yeah, like the person that I'm friends with, they tell me they're like, "Oh, by the
Uh,
way, the password changed," and it's
okay.
like I still have the Disney Plus. It's amazing.
I actually have a really good segue of that from that story.
Okay.
Because today I woke up and I got a text and it was like your Sony confirmation code is, and it's like the 6 digit number, and I was like, that's weird because I've just been sleeping. So then Henry has my PlayStation at home, my PlayStation 4, and so I'm like, what is he up to? And so I called Henry and I go, because he has a phone now. I called Henry and I go, hey, are you doing something with Sony? He's like, I mean, I'm playing PlayStation, but I'm not like logging into any accounts. I'm just playing like Rogue Company. I don't know. I've never heard of it or played it, but
Yeah.
he has it. And so then I'm like, that's weird. And I literally got like another text after the phone call went over. I'm like, huh. So it's like another
A confirmation
yeah.
code. Yeah.
And so I'm like, huh. And then I get another one. I'm like, uh-oh. And so then I very quickly, like, I was like kind of in bed, like snoozing my alarm. I very quickly jump out of bed, turn on my PlayStation. Everything is still like, I'm logged in on everything. And then I go on my phone and like I try to log into my accounts. And then it's like, it sends me the 6 digit code that but then I get two of them at the same time. And like, so
Oh,
I'm trying to log in and someone else is trying to log in at the same time. And so then I like put in one of the codes and it was like, nope, that's not the code. I put in the other one. It's like, oh, here you're in. And so I'm like, okay. I literally am like on my phone, logged into my PlayStation account. I get like five more texts. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I changed the password and the text stopped.
What the fuck?
So someone I think somehow got my password and two-factor motherfucking authentication
That is,
saved me.
yeah. Dude, I
oh, dude.
hate two-factor authenticate. I can't say that word.
Is it
The
authentication?
authentication.
It's
That's
just authentication.
Authentication. I
authentication.
don't know why I
Yeah.
said authentication.
It just sounds a little more I don't know.
Two-factor
You mixed it
authentication.
with like authentication
Yeah.
with identification.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
tweaked.
many college students can relate to the
Yeah,
Duo
Duo
Mobile.
Mobile
That
Mobile,
sucks,
on
dude.
dude. It's
Canvas.
so stupid.
It's so. Why is
Yeah.
that? Yeah, literally my most secure account in all of my accounts is my fucking Canvas.
Yeah, like my school. Nobody's gonna log in my school shit
My
Yeah.
at
school
all.
email is more fucking codified than my bank account.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
so true.
It's
Yeah,
it sucks.
every
Yeah.
time.
Oh, and then the other one that I think I have. Oh no, it's not that bad, but it's like I have to like type in my username and password every time. Is like for fuck. Sorry, for work. For checking the schedule, I have to like put in my username and password, and it's like really. Can I not just have
Yeah.
like a Face ID or something?
Yeah, that's what it was like when I worked with a major coffee company.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know which one that was?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
one of the two that are. Or no,
Yeah,
no, it is the yeah, because it would have been in our town, right? And we only have like the one.
not in our town. It's in the town over.
Oh,
Uh
okay.
the town
Do you
that
not work there anymore?
no,
Well, you
no.
can say it if you don't work there anymore,
Oh,
if you want.
look at me. Anyways, yeah, I when I worked at Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was in the
Yeah.
town pertaining to next to our town.
The one west of us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It is just the same thing. Also, that the whole app they have is awful. It
Mm.
looks like it's from the 90s. It's just horrible, and like figuring out shifts is just the worst.
I hate when web apps look just disgusting because it's not that
Like
hard to
you have
design a good
such an
one.
ability to make it look nice, and you
Yeah.
Yeah.
just don't.
That's how like the app for like not I think it was like Infinite Campus or whatever. That app looked like dog
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
dude. That
throwback.
looked like
And that
so bad.
and then also what was the other one? It was like or not Infinite Campus.
School view.
School View. Oh, that was like
That was
Oh,
miserable.
that was
awful,
bad.
The
dude.
worst one was the worst school website is the Spanish textbook from high school. That
Oh,
website,
Yeah.
literally, you
I
couldn't
don't.
even like
Yeah.
you couldn't even go like you'd think like oh online textbook you could just type in oh this page number or something. You literally couldn't do that. It would literally like there's no way to scroll through pages of the textbook.
Also, I never remembered my password for that. I reset that password
Yeah.
more than any other password I've ever reset.
I think it
Like at least
I
12 times.
Yeah, I don't remember if I was like for that exact one or if it was some other password. We're literally like every time I need to get onto it, it's like I guess I'm just gonna change my password because I don't remember what it was.
Because
Exactly.
each time it's a different password and it's always like some weird, like really long one. Like
Yeah,
it has like so many stipulations that you need to fill. And
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember this. And I never
Hmm.
did.
Well, that was like one of the you know what was so weird? Whereas like that time in school where the teachers would tell you what your password needs to be. They'd be like,
Oh,
it needs to be your student
Yeah, it
ID
needs to
with
be
like,
your initials, then your student ID, and then it's like really.
yeah, it's like,
I guess that makes sense because,
hmm
but if you fuck that up, I think Tommy fucked it up for one of the tech ed classes. I remember him like tweaking for like an entire week about him
tech
not doing
ed.
the password, and the teacher was like, "Well, it's gotta be this. Like, it's supposed to be like your ID number and then your initials." And then he tried to do it, and he's like, it didn't work, and he's like, "Well, then you must have done something wrong." I
yeah.
remember that very vividly. Like he fucked something up.
But it's like nowadays it's so easy to reset a password.
I
It's like
know.
a
Yeah.
normal thing that I do is just reset passwords because I just forget them and I don't write them
Exactly.
down
hmm
like an
Exactly.
idiot.
And then and then they use as long as you have your email linked to it or your phone number, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Minecraft every time.
Oh,
Remember
Yes.
when I was in your room?
How ironic that you two motherfuckers are here. Minecraft Microsoft is my least favorite
It's
company to
awful.
deal with because they always tweak with passwords and accounts and stuff. I tried the first saga I had with Microsoft was when I tried to get my free copy of the Windows 10 edition because they gave it
Mm,
out if you bought the Java edition before a certain date. And so just give you and now you can just get everyone gets it both of them for free. Like if you have the Bedrock edition you get the Java edition or whatever.
yeah.
But Java editions are or not the Java like so basically what they did was when they made that new update that I just said where you can get both of them free, they made this new launcher where you're supposed to link so you could start both of the different types of games from the same launcher, which it's like okay, kind of unnecessary, but I can understand that. So you got to
Yeah.
like link your Microsoft account. Well, what happened was well, actually, it all started when you came over just for no reason on some random school nights,
Yeah,
just with
Yeah.
your
because we were
laptop,
just gonna play
play
Just
Minecraft.
play
Minecraft,
Minecraft.
Yeah.
and I was like, and I like was doing homework. I didn't even know you were coming over, and I'm like, well, can I play? And you guys were like, yeah, sure. I was like, oh, okay. You guys were playing Hypixel,
hmm
which is like this big Minecraft server where it's like the biggest Minecraft server where you can. It's a bunch of mini games and shit, and I think it's so popular. Like I think over even though Minecraft is the most popular game of all time, I think literally over half the people that have Minecraft have one time visited Hypixel.
That
I
doesn't
think
surprise me.
Yeah.
it's like that's which is ridiculous because like Minecraft has like 200 million downloads.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it's like the amount of times you're like, you're 8 years old, you're looking at Minecraft Hunger Games, and you're like, that's the coolest shit
Yeah,
ever.
and you can just
Yeah.
go on it for
Yeah,
free as long as you
exactly.
have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. But anyways, yeah. So you guys are playing like Bed Wars or something I don't remember, and I was like trying to log in, and like it was like you're banned from Hypixel, and I was like, what?
What are you gonna
I
do?
was like, how the fuck am I banned? I didn't do
Yeah.
anything. And so then I was like, okay, so I Googled it. I was like on Google, and then I was like, well, what? I Googled it, and they were like, yeah, you might have something weird with your account, or like maybe try it, like, uh, you might have to you get the new launcher or something. I was like, oh fuck. Which the Minecraft launcher thing is one of those updates where every time it pops up, you just click skip
Hmm.
instead of actually just taking the time to do it
Yeah.
because like you don't really need it.
Hmm.
And so then I just tried to do it, and then I couldn't like the account I bought Minecraft with initially is different than my Microsoft account that I have Windows 10 edition on and that's on my computer because um, I don't remember why like when I made the Xbox account like once again this is all Microsoft fuckery when I made the Xbox account to play the other one with my friends, they said, no, fuck you. You have like parental controls on. You can't go on servers or play with friends. So I made an entirely new Xbox account. I made an entirely new Gmail just for the purpose of playing Minecraft Windows 10. And so now, yes.
Yep.
And so now my Microsoft account that I've linked with everything is my secondary email, which is just Microsoft, right? So then I guess something got fucked up and I couldn't get into any of the games. And so I was just tweaking on Microsoft support and I was like having like a mini panic attack while you guys were just, oh, he's killing me, he's killing me. You're playing Minecraft in my room.
Yeah.
And so then I finally got it figured out.
Smooth-brained idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I hate Microsoft.
He's one
Like,
shot. He's on me. He's on me.
yeah.
He's coming on me.
Do you guys remember? I don't remember if it was us three and like Adam. I remember Adam was there. We were playing. It was either golf or like
Oh,
Fortnite.
golf with
Yeah, it was
friends.
golf.
But what was the game we were playing where we had that bit where we were like it was like two people like having like or like people in like an orgy, but they were like giving out call outs like they're playing Fortnite. They're like, oh, he's inside of me, he's inside of me. All right, all right. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, about to come, about to come.
He's coming on my face. He's coming.
He's coming inside me.
He's coming inside me. He's coming inside me.
It's the
Every
most
time.
rancid shit.
Oh.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, I remember Adam was like, oh, like
Yeah.
my asshole's prolapsing. My asshole's prolapsing.
Dude, that reminds me. Have you been seeing the TikTok?
Howie
where it's-
Mandel.
Well, oh Jesus, I forgot about that. Well, there's
Is this
that
COVID
too.
related?
Well, there's the TikTok about it's like a news thing, and it's like uh something about like somebody being convicted for like certain, or it was a group chat that had a lot of like misogynistic and like fucked up boys group chat things,
Oh
and then
yeah.
like it follows with like a stitch of like this guy throwing his Xbox and shit, and like
Oh.
everybody keeps like stitching on it and everything.
Oh, like people like oh the like your account like leak or like your group chat got like leaked, all the fucked
Yeah,
up shit you
like
talked about.
that. Yeah.
That'd be like if Willem's Twitch streams got
Indeed.
unprivate.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but yeah.
I have all of them saved, so if I
Yeah.
really wanted to blackmail
Yeah.
some
Willem
friends,
has such a potential to blackmail.
I could
Yeah.
just do it.
So do you probably. Well,
Sometimes I have
probably not too many.
yeah about like fucked up shit on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do have a lot of the raw recordings saved. There's the only one I can think of right now is the well I shouldn't say. I'll cut back in now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that the episode where I just ripped ass into the microphone?
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That was classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't on the podcast until the super spreader events.
yeah.
'Cause it was like
the first one was the Discord podcast that we
Yeah,
did.
it was like a bok choy like advertisement that we're trying to do, and like we
Yeah.
literally lined it up to record, and then the super spreader thing happened, and it was so perfect that Willem was on that episode because Willem was like the talk of the school,
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
and then yeah, that episode was pretty funny. That was the episode where the carving pumpkins.
Garden pumpkins.
We literally gaslit Aiden because he literally said something normally and we like it lagged in Discord, so we were all making fun of him. He's like, no, I literally said like a whole sentence before I said carving pumpkins, and then I went back and edited the podcast
Yeah.
because he recorded his
Yeah.
own audio, and I edited him just so he said carving pumpkins.
I think I also had that ridiculous fart that nobody heard because it only picked up on my recording of it and
Yeah.
it didn't go through the Discord.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
just randomly in the podcast, there's just a giant ass fart with reverb on
Yeah, I
it,
think the
and
top,
then just me laughing
I
in the
think
background.
top comments on that podcast episode is just the timestamp of where the fart is.
I really want to find that right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
absurd.
Good
Yeah.
times.
that was good times. That was back when because that was back in the senior year episodes where like sometimes it's fucking a Discord episode and sometimes it's not.
That
Mhm.
okay. Now that we're talking about being on Discord, this reminds me of a story I was going to tell earlier.
Okay.
So this is relating to your story about trying not to wake up your dad while
Yeah.
playing video games. So there was a period in time. It was probably like the May to September, like right after COVID started, where we were like playing hella video games all together.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Smite game we were playing, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck this guy up" or something like that.
Mhm.
And I just said it a little too loud, but I was like, "Oh well,
Yeah.
whatever." And then I made the mistake of going upstairs once I was done to like go to the bathroom or something,
Mhm.
and then I had a whole conversation with my dad about profanity.
Oh my God.
It was just like, seriously.
Really, when you're like in 11th grade or like 12th grade or whatever.
Yeah, that was basically senior year at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That's why I always talked very quietly on the streams.
High gain.
Yeah.
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 Or like when we did when you had your original YouTube channel and then like
Mhm.
Wick would be on. Willem and Wick like the Who's Your Daddy video.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
bad,
So
dude.
wait, I keep forgetting because I think I asked you this a lot. So basically, what happened was me and Willem and Wick, we would play games together all the time back in like 7th grade, 8th grade,
Yeah.
mainly 7th grade or somewhere after 7th grade because that's after I got my computer. And we play like Terraria and stuff or like Minecraft sometimes. But sometimes Willem would record a video for the Ron825 YouTube channel. Me and Willem had like the Pixelmon series, which of course is world famous at this point.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And then was that like your most popular, or no, probably one of the Wick
I think
videos?
I think Pixelmon or might have been one of the more popular ones.
Pixelmon episode like 1 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we recorded a bunch of videos that never got released, and then we did the Diversity series, which is like one of the most popular Minecraft maps. Me and Willem played, and then I think we recorded. Did any of the episodes actually come out? Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Because I remember we did there's like one part where it would basically how Diversity works is it's like there's a bunch of different types of Minecraft maps. Like it's a puzzle, or it's an adventure, or it's like an escape room, or like it's a survival map or something like that.
Mhm.
And it would basically like it was like basically like 12 maps in one or like however many, and you'd have to do all these different like this is the parkour section or this is the boss fight section or whatever.
Yeah.
And so basically there's one where it's like the dropper. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, I know what you're
It's like
talking
this
about.
thing in Minecraft where you've got to like fall and like avoid shit as you fall and land in water at the bottom, similar to Felix Baumgartner falling out of space,
Falling out
making
of
a
space.
circle story here.
Yeah.
But when we did the dropper, since it was really hard and it took forever, and we were kind of just like saying fuck, like we weren't really commentating on it. Willem just put the Benny Hill theme, like
Yeah.
the
Can I just spin up the video?
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that edit. And then I think we stopped. I don't remember. I know we beat the map, but I don't remember if we recorded the entire thing. I think we did.
Did we ever beat the map?
Yeah, we did. But there's also Diversity 2 and Diversity 3 that we never played.
I don't think we ever beat Diversity 1.
I think we did. Because remember you have to like fight the Ender Dragon and stuff.
I don't remember doing that.
Maybe we didn't. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. But anyways, the last video we did was Terraria Part 1, but it was all three of us. And it's like some of Willem's videos would have Wick in them, some of them would have me. But this is the first one with all three of us, and that's my favorite. And we basically played through Terraria, or like the first half of the game, I guess I don't know how it works because I've never played that far.
First half.
yeah, we got to like there's like this part in Terraria where you beat this one boss, and then after you beat it, then you like the entire world becomes harder. Like it
Hmm.
starts hard mode, and like all the enemies are harder, and like new like ore will spawn underground and shit, and new monsters will come. There's like new shit to do. Um, so we literally played through the entire game as like a let's play, but only the first episode came out, and so like literally there was so much unnecessary like commentary. Like we were like we should explain to the audience that we like did this off camera or something. Like we literally recorded like an entire let's play and then stopped. And then
Yeah.
like yeah, and then but there was one time where Willem did play this game which was kind of viral back in like middle school era called Who's Your Daddy, which is basically like a two-player game where one person is like this baby and one person is the dad, and you just have to explore the house. And the goal of the baby is you're just supposed to try to kill yourself. So you're supposed to like get a fork and put it in like an
I know
outlet,
what this
or
game
like
is.
you're
Yeah.
supposed to like drink like soap or like electrocute yourself or like I don't know, like there's a bunch of other ways
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And the dad, you basically had like X amount of time to just child-proof the house, or like you could pick up the baby and like put him in the crib, but he could like escape and stuff. It's kind of funny. Willem and Jake did a video, and then his parents found out about it and like took his computer away for like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah,
Like it
Damn.
was
I
terrible.
got shut down hard for that one.
Yeah, but I always forget. Was it like were they mad because just the like the content of the game, or because of the video, or
Yeah, they
because
were mad because I was playing a game about a baby killing itself.
okay, all right, just but it was just because you're playing the game, or because you released the video of it.
Because I was playing the game.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it was
Damn.
free, so it's not like
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think my parents like necessarily cared what games I played, but I would always like steal my brother's Uncharted games and bring them over to
Oh,
Adam's
I love
house.
Uncharted.
Yeah. Movie
Yeah,
sucks though. Horrible movie.
it was all right.
I
It was
thought it
okay.
was one of the worst movies I've seen.
Really,
Yeah.
I think. Well, okay, I'll come back to that, but also, the only game that my parents would never let me play is GTA. Because I
Oh
guess
yeah,
because
that's
when they were, I guess maybe because when did San Andreas come out? Probably when we were like younger. Maybe it was like was that
Yeah.
it
sometime
was when we were
elementary
younger, like right
school.
before we were born. No, we were alive. I think it was like 2004 or something when it came out.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
And
that yeah.
that when that game came out, it was like that was when it was all in the news about GTA, like being
Being
so
bad for
bad and
kids.
violent. So I guess maybe
Yeah.
that's wwhy. But I'm my guess is now because I got it when I was 16 years old. My guess is my parents will let Henry play G- GTA whatever way earlier than that because video games don't actually cause violence, uh,
That's true.
based on research. But it's also like kind of inappropriate. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
GTA 5 is now one of my favorite games of all time. So, and I was watching YouTube videos on it the entire time, so it really didn't matter anyways.
Dude,
I got to be watching Vanos Gaming and shit.
so basically this past year my saxophone professor resigned from his position because he's just getting paid ass.
Mm.
And a few of my friends from Saxophone Studio went out to coffee with him, and they were discussing different like games they had on their phones and stuff. And then they asked him, which our professor, he's like this British guy, and
Oh,
he's
really?
like, he's a little more proper, but we never got to see the more casual side of him just
Mm.
because like he's a professor and stuff. And they asked him what his favorite game to play was, and he said GTA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
That's
it's just
funny.
like, damn, that's just silly.
Yeah. Well, there's also that's kind of funny that we're talking about coffee because I think and this is my video game knowledge coming into play here. I think that there's like a cheat or something called like the hot coffee cheat or something in San Andreas, which is why I think the game was like in the news for a while. Is it was literally just show like an uncensored like sex scene that they like with like because you could like pick up prostitutes in that game, but
Yeah,
like it was you can like see it. I think like they healed you if you had sex with a prostitute, but which is ironic.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they like there's like some cheat or something because they like left it in the files or whatever. Or maybe they didn't.
Mm,
Maybe yeah, because it must have been some sort of like hack or something because it wasn't like it was in the files, but there's no way to like see it in the game normally.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, so that game was like in the news for a while, but it was I think Mortal Kombat was the reason that we have the ESRB ratings for things.
Yeah.
Because that game was another big thing when it
That would
came
make
out.
sense.
Which
Yeah,
is funny because
crushing hearts.
ironic, that was one of the games that my parents played when they first started dating. They played like Super Nintendo. And so it's a very ironic that they're criticizing, they were like, oh, we can't let our kids play GTA, but we're going to play
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat,
Kombat,
which I think is arguably a little more like it's
it's
definitely
it's
more
more
gruesome.
gruesome, but it's
Yeah.
probably like it's obviously all fake. Like
Yeah.
it's not like GTA is like shit that could somewhat realistically happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody in real life could grab like I couldn't like punch into your stomach and rip out your spinal cord and then
Yeah.
like hold it up above my head and say fatality.
Do Game of Thrones be like?
Yeah. Well, anyways, what I was gonna say. Oh shit! Did I have something to say? It was something about something that you said. Fuck. What were we talking about before you started talking about about GTA? Something about Uncharted.
Coffee. Oh,
Uncharted.
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 I was thinking about this the other day. Is because you know how like people that give like movies ratings, or like something out of 10.
Oh yeah,
But
like that
like,
sort of rating.
but like I was saying like, oh yeah, I think that Obi-Wan show is like a 7 out of 10. But people think that's bad because of school. But it's like
Yeah,
that's
that's like
because
good.
in school a 6 out of 10 is a fail.
Yeah.
But a 6 out of 10 for me is like it's all right.
Yeah,
And then the 7 out of 10 is like, oh, it's pretty good. And then like 8 out of 10 is like, yeah, no, this is pretty good. And like 9 out of 10 is like, oh yeah, I really like this. 10 is like a masterpiece.
exactly.
I was thinking to myself, have I ever played a game or watched a movie that I would give a 1 out of 10? Because like and I was really trying to think of myself like even my least favorite game of all time, like a Marvel Superheroes 2, that's like a 4 out of 10 in my opinion. It's more of a big disappointment.
Yeah,
I don't need to get into it because I probably talked about it on the podcast before.
Right.
But I think the only thing I would ever give a 1 out of 10 to is something that's borderline unwatchable. And that is why I think the worst movie I've ever seen and the one I would give a 1 out of 10 to is a movie called The Passion of the Christ.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I would give that movie a 1 out of 10 because it just I gained zero enjoyment from watching it. Like even if a movie is bad, you can at least like watch it. And that movie isn't even technically bad. But it's
Yeah,
like for me, it's like the only people that would enjoy that are like two people on opposite sides of the spectrum of like you're either super devout Catholic or you're literally a fucking murderer. Because it's like the entire movie is just Jesus being tortured for 2 hours,
yeah.
and it's like
And it's also just like everybody or most people I would say know how the
yeah,
story goes.
Yeah.
and it's not even like a creative way of telling it; it's just them showing it. And then it's like also like it's not in English, and they're like, and it's like, oh, but Lucas, it's not in English, and it's not. It's all violent because that's realistic. It's like, okay, well then why is Jesus white, dumbass? So stupid. All right, I have to apologize, guys. I did make an error here, and I've been talking in this episode about people being wrong and saying stupid things, and I just said a stupid thing about something. I said it very confidently, and I just was saying that Passion of the Christ is my least favorite movie of all time, and then I also just said that Jesus was white in the movie, which of course he was not. Now, it has been a while since I've seen it, but my whole point in bringing this up is that the movie is just the whole point is that it's really accurate. Oh, blah blah blah. Then, but my main criticism was, why is Jesus white when actually in reality he wasn't white? Because it's very common to see Jesus be white in media and in everything. But actually, the actor who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ was Middle Eastern, and not only was he Middle Eastern, but they also gave him a prosthetic nose, and I think they dyed his eyes to be brown, which is what they of course were. And so yeah, I got to give them props for that. But I did find an article that I will put in the description. I did my extra research because I made such a big mistake in saying that he was white. And yeah, so basically there's a bunch of shit that they got wrong in the movie. And so the whole point of the movie is that it's so accurate, but they're making all these things they're making all these changes, let's give Mary a bunch of extra screen time, when in reality everyone knows that only one of the Stations of the Cross was Mary approaches Jesus or whatever.
oh, let's have this weird demonic baby in the movie for no reason. That wasn't mentioned in the Bible. Oh, and then also the violence, it was way too violent. Like even people were saying that it was too violent, and that's inaccurately too violent. And not only that, but Jesus was wearing his like, Jesus, when at the end when he's getting crucified and he's wearing his little like diaper loincloth thing. That's actually inaccurate too. Jesus would have been naked when he was crucified. So for a movie that is like, oh, we're gonna do all these things to make it more realistic. We're gonna make it super violent, and we're gonna make it not in English. It's like fair enough. I can read subtitles and whatever, but it's just not entertaining to watch when you have to do all these extra steps. Like, oh, and then like I want to look away because it's so violent and like gross unnecessarily. And then it's also like, oh, we gotta watch because it's like you gotta watch the subtitles. So my gripe is that all of the things that they're changing to make it more like accurate, or all the things that they're doing to make it accurate make the movie worse, and it's not accurate enough to warrant that. It's like if you're going to make all these creative liberties, then you might as well just make it not as violent and stupid, and then also make it in English, because I think we can just like fucking be like, okay, we can use our imagination to imagine that the people were English, which that one isn't that big of a deal, but fuck you. I fucking hate that movie. Fuck you, Dad, for making me watch it.
Yep.
I hate that. Yeah, my dad forced me, Chloe, and Henry to watch that movie on Easter one year, and I was
On Easter?
like, or no, yeah,
Oh.
I remember if it was Easter, like the day around. Maybe it was Good Friday. Actually, it probably was. But and we were just like, we all watched that movie, and then as soon as it went over, we just didn't even say anything to my dad. We literally just went upstairs, and we were like, yeah, fuck you.
I remember while I was in the midst of confirmation, or like the program for that, we went on like this day trip thing. I don't
Hmm.
even know where it was. It was like this just
Like a retreat.
yeah, it was just this random place. And we ended up watching like some scenes from that, and it was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
like even like the Emoji Movie, I would still give like a 2 out of 10 too, because it's like
It's
at
laughable.
least I can enjoy watching it. It's not
Yeah.
it's really bad and cringe, but it's not. It's like I could like I went to theaters to watch Object as a joke, and it's like
Yeah.
I can laugh at how bad this is. Like with the
Mhm.
Passion of the Christ, there's like no enjoyment.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's
Because
that's
it's also hard to
agreeable.
rate things because it's like what number score do you give like fucking like I don't know like Spider-Man 3 or like Revenge of the Sith? Like those movies aren't like technically good, but I still
Yeah.
gain a lot of enjoyment from watching them because they're really entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
like
Revenge of the Sith.
I think movies that are like cringe because they're bad,
Yeah,
like that makes them better. Like there's
yeah.
this movie that I found on Amazon Prime, dude. Love Amazon
Oh,
Prime movies.
I know
It's
what you're gonna
called
say.
Llamageddon,
Oh my god.
and it's so bad.
Mhm.
Like I don't even know how to begin. It's just like it's so low budget, but it's also not at the same.
It's like
Like
so
it's
bad it's good.
purposefully low budget. It's so funny. Like I
Sort
have
is it
not
sort of like
laughed.
The Room?
It it I don't even it. So basically, the story is there's these people, and they're like, "Oh, let's throw a party. Our parents are out of town," and then this llama from space comes, and then
Oh
it
my
just kills them.
god.
That's the plot. And then they
Oh,
eventually
Oh, it's
kill
like
the
a horror movie.
yeah, and they kill the llama at the end of it, but it's
Oh,
like
that's really funny.
so bad. Like the production though, like you can tell it's like there was like this isn't awful. Like there's some things where it's like that like is not bad. It's just like purposefully bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I will say that's probably one of my favorite movies to watch because I laughed so hard at it.
Hmm.
I've not laughed harder at any movie.
Mm.
I was also a bit intoxicated for that,
Oh
so
yeah.
that
I
also
see.
played into it. But
Okay.
still, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any movies like that?
um,
Any comments? Anything you'd give a one, two, or like anything?
I can't give a one to anything. I don't think I haven't really.
Yeah. Well, but like if the only thing I could think of like some if like I was literally talking to Henry about like something like I was talking to Henry about Passion of the Christ and he's like I'd give it a 0. I think if it's a 0, I don't think a movie could get a 0, but I think a game
No.
could. If a game literally you can't play it, like it like won't start or like something, then it could be a
Yeah.
0.
Or like just
Like Anthem, which I think is like the servers are shut down because the game was so bad.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I don't know. It's hard. I think I'd give like Revenge of the Sith and Spider-Man both like 6s. Good, but it's like it's hard because those movies are like I think it's annoying when I say like Last Jedi is like it's better than Revenge of the Sith
Technically, yeah.
technically, but
Yeah.
I gain way more enjoyment from watching Revenge of the
I think
Sith.
Revenge of the Sith is probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's also like going back to like the lore. Like in Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith is like the turning point of the entire series. It's like one after Revenge of the Sith, the entire all the rest of the movies are like oh it's this post Revenge of the Sith like after Order 66, and then
Yeah.
episodes 1, 2, and 3 are. That's what I think is interesting about the prequels is that just the time period is so much more like unique than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Definitely.
And that's what one of
Yeah.
my criticisms of 7, 8, 9 is that I think it's just like so similar to like 4, 5, and 6. Like, oh, stormtroopers again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, let's escape
what's
the bad
they literally
guys.
don't even talk about like how they came into power or anything. They kind of just skipped all that, and it's like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
which is
definitely
kind of like I kind of like how it's like how Han Solo like I kind of like all the characters. Like I can understand like oh this massive time jump. I like how it's like why is Luke being such a dick, and they kind of like reveal throughout the movie like oh this whole thing happened with the Jedi Order and stuff with Ben Solo killing everyone or
Mhm.
whatever. Why is Han Solo and Princess Leia not together? Oh, they kind of explain with Kylo Ren like after that he like became evil, they kind of like separated or
Mhm.
like kind of so depressed, and then like so I kind of like that about them, but I kind of don't like and how it's kind of open to interpretation for a bit, but I don't like how they have it for like the rest of the galaxy. Like, oh, how did this First Order come to charge
Yeah.
without like why would people sign up to be in this? I guess they were like cloning. I don't know. Who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
it's sort of like how it's like if you made a movie series about um like the world and like if they made a really shitty movie about World War II and then like three like really good movies about like the years like the next couple decades about where like not as interesting things were happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
like World War II is like the Revenge of the Sith, and then but it's like
Yeah.
you might think it's more interesting because there's more interesting things happening, but it's technically worse than the other three movies, if that makes any sense.
So does that make the next three movies about the Soviet Union or
Yeah. The
yeah.
Soviet Union is well, it'd be kind of like if Germany won in World War
That
II.
that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They just didn't flesh out their villains enough in
In
the sequels.
in the sequels, yeah.
I agree.
Well, the thing with the sequels, and this will be the last thing we talk about because it's kind of been we've been going for like an over an hour,
Mm-hmm.
but or over an hour and a half. But the thing with the sequels is that and this is going to be spoilers by the way, for a movie that came out 3 years ago. But when Rise of Skywalker came out, now those three movies, and I shouldn't say the first one because the first one was really good
Yeah.
in my opinion, but people just forget about that. So they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the sequels suck. It's like, well, no, because
Two of them do.
two of them do. But if like people who are like, oh, all the prequels are better than all the sequels. First of all, no. But second of all, it's like you're really trying to tell me that you think Attack of the Clones is better than Force Awakens? You know that's not true.
Not
I
even
remember when
close.
that movie came out and everyone was sucking the movie's dick.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think it's fair to say, oh, The Last Jedi, since it was so different, what makes that one worse. Anyways, what my point is that those three movies are like they all have things wrong about them, but it's not like anybody who watches those movies, anybody in the world will hate at least one of them
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
there's like because episode 8 and episode 9 are bad for the exact like opposite reasons. Whereas like episodes 1, 2, and 3, like if you're like a big fan of Star Wars or like you're a fucking moron or a kid, you'll enjoy all three of those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like if like I don't know. It's not like yeah, like I like those movies because I'm a big fan of Star Wars. But if there's certain people that might not like any of them,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So that's my point: is that the sequels are bad in a way that makes it so there's not even like you nobody in the world can enjoy the entire trilogy because there's gonna be one movie that everyone doesn't like, Like some people don't like episode 8 and some people don't like episode 9.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can't please everyone.
I'm in the episode 9 is the worst camp. Episode 9 is worse than episode 8.
I think I would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
too.
Episode 9 is, in my opinion, it's even lower than episode 3, even though I've been shitting on it.
It's just too rushed.
It's like
Yeah.
it's so bad that
Yeah.
like, and it's worse when you watch it more times because the main problem is that like the plot makes no sense.
Yeah.
And like everything I just said about why like they just skipped why how come all this happened like off screen, how did the First Order, even more so in this movie, how
Yeah.
come Palpatine is alive, the main
Somehow
villain comes back
Palpatine's
off
back.
screen, somehow Palpatine returned or something. That's like so cringe.
So bad.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my opinion of the sequels. But people will try to tell you, oh no, the prequels are better than the sequels. It's like, what? The sequel trilogy overall is probably worse than the prequel trilogy, like technically, but the movies within it are better than the. And people who try to tell you otherwise, like Sam or Bay, just haven't seen all the movies in a while.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not, you can't really. Yeah.
That'd be a rewatch, like, of the full series that I'd be
Yeah.
interested to do. I haven't ever done a full, like, Star Wars.
Yeah, I did it last year when I was anticipating for Lego. When I was waiting for Lego Star Wars to come out, I rewatched all of them, and I made my definitive ranking like list. Yeah,
I'd be interested to rank them all too.
yeah.
I want to rank all the Marvel movies.
That's
too.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
As I do have my Marvel ranking, but at the same time, it's not really fair because of what I just said. I haven't seen all of them in a while.
Yeah.
But
Mine is super old.
I'm
now.
gonna be honest with you. You're gonna have to pay me some fucking money to rewatch
Yeah, dude.
30 movies and TV
So
shows.
many.
I already did that 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
I can't do it again for another few years.
Yeah, like Danny Rowan, I think has rewatched all the Marvel Cinematic Universe with like 5 different people, and it's like because he's like the biggest like Marvel shill ever.
Mm-hmm.
But he ironically is kind of weird because he said he didn't like Doctor Strange. It's like
The
what?
first one?
No, the most recent one. It's
Oh.
like
Oh.
that movie was really good in my opinion. But he's like this.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, why was he was like disappointed that Wolverine and shit wasn't in it. It's like, bruh.
You're disappointed that they didn't go overboard with fan service?
Yeah.
Because
Same with why people were disappointed with WandaVision. It's like, well, WandaVision is shitty because the ending sucks, not because they didn't introduce the X-Men.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But I feel like the only people that think that are people that watched it when it came out, because there's the week between episodes where like they can discuss like, oh my god, they mentioned this. There's a slight reference
like
to the
there's all
X-Men.
the hype and stuff.
Yeah, and people are
Yeah.
doing all these theories. But me, who just watched it all at once, I watched it literally all in one day. Funny enough, before that podcast we did with the Super Spreader one.
Yeah, Yeah.
I watched it all the day before that.
because that was a small topic, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the week before you were talking about, once the last episode comes out, we're just gonna watch them all or
Yeah.
something like that.
So then I watched them all in a row, and then I didn't care much about the X-Men stuff, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are some thoughts on Star Wars and Marvel and
Thoughts on the two biggest franchises right
Yeah.
now?
Both owned by Disney.
yeah.
Yeah.
But people be like, Star Wars fell off, and it's like, and people be like, Star Wars fell off, Marvel fell off. And it's like, well, you could argue that Marvel fell off, but it's like they're also, like I said, building up for something better.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, people forget Phase 1. There's 6 movies in it, and 3 of them suck.
Which ones do you think suck?
Well, I haven't seen Incredible Hulk, but I heard it sucks, and then Thor sucks, and Iron Man 2 sucks. So
Yeah.
and then how many movies are in this? Like how many of the Phase 4 movies suck? Black Widow, Eternals, and that's, in my opinion, that's pretty much it.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Shang-Chi, I thought was good. Spider-Man, everybody sucks that movie's dick. I thought it was good.
That movie is
Doctor Strange is pretty good in my opinion, and Thor is probably one of the most overhated movies.
Yeah.
in my
dude.
opinion.
That movie was good. I don't
like
know
that
why
movie
so
a
many
lot.
people hate on it.
Yeah.
I mean it's similar to Ragnarok. And
Yeah.
like maybe like it didn't hit some points as well
It's
as
not. It's
Ragnarok
probably not
did.
as funny. It wasn't as funny as well. I don't know. Maybe people just had way fonder memories of Ragnarok, but it wasn't as funny. Like the jokes didn't really land in Thor: Love and Thunder as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just much sillier.
Yeah, it's kind of there's kind of some cringe jokes in it, but it's like I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree.
I didn't like how in Ragnarok they had that boring ass storyline with like the people of Asgard like fucking around with like Hela and Heimdall.
Yeah,
They're, like, hiding,
I didn't
and
give
it's
a fuck
like,
about that.
Okay, cringe. And then like I didn't even I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole like when he was in that one other planet with like Jeff Goldblum and
Oh
Thor,
yeah.
and they like
Fair.
they couldn't like leave, and they were like just fucking around. It was like between like the action scenes of like like they're introducing like the world, and but also like we need to escape. There's too much space in between where they're just fucking around like locked up. In my
Yeah.
opinion, like
Mm-hmm.
Thor doesn't want, or like Hulk doesn't want to leave, etc. Loki is there fucking around. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. But yeah, so but also like the Marvel shows though, I would say like those average like a 6 out of 10.
I would
Yeah.
agree because there's some really good ones and there's some really mediocre ones.
Yeah, like Miss Marvel.
I don't think any of them are bad
Bad.
though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But same with Star Wars. None of the shows are bad. The most mediocre like the worst Star Wars show in my opinion, which is the Book of Boba Fett. That was still better than most of the Marvel. Like that's better than Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. It's better than
I think the Star Wars shows are much
Falcon
better.
and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, boys. Sorry
Of
for
course.
we did talk about. I don't know what the clickbait of the title will be, but probably not something related to what we talked about the longest, which is this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Our grievances with Disney.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
lot
a
of-
long topic.
A lot of hate on big corporations today. Microsoft, Disney.
I have no fucking sympathy for Microsoft. But
Alright.
Disney, it's like at least like they make good like the creative people behind it.
Yeah.
But like the company itself is sus.
That's true.
Very similar to my favorite video game company, Nintendo, which makes
A little
my favorite
sus.
games, but they are the dumbest business.
Mm-hmm.
They're so dumb sometimes. Yeah.
Yet another big corporation to hate on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll do something I hate. I'm like, why the fuck are you doing that? And then they're like, hey, Mushroom Gorge is coming to Mario Kart 8. I'm like, oh, really? It's like
That's nice.
it's like the Squidward meme, like I fucking hate this person. 10 minutes later, me and the bestie, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
I don't know.
I can.
Unfortunately,
I'll edit.
I'm just like that one girl in your English class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she'll like be like, yeah. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
exactly.
it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it though. Yeah. Yeah. She. Ugh. Never mind. I can. That's a topic
We've
for another
come
day.
full circle.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for listening to the people who are listening. Yeah. This is I haven't recorded a podcast in literally a month.
That's
Because-
a long time.
The Carl one, which is the last one, I recorded on August 17th. And then I had that episode came out,
That
and then I
is-
had like episodes stockpiled for a while.
That is exactly a month ago.
Yeah. So this I
Impressive.
think is the longest, even though I only missed 1 week because I had so many podcasts saved up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. I hope I will see you guys soon.
Yes. We should plan a time to hang out.
We should.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, because I don't think I really hung out with you much last year, unless other than the times you're like in my room.
Yeah, it was just a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Fucking I mean I say that, but then like Sandquist is here this year, and then a bunch of people from our town came to Eau Claire last night. No, nobody decides to text Lucas to see if he wants to come. I was busy anyways, but
Yeah.
I'm like, alright, well,
All right.
alright, outro. Goodbye.